Hey guys, I've been getting some messages about Joe Colombo story. A Joey man who was in a different family, the Genovese family, a made guy. And so I figured I'd give you this story. Joe Colombo was the boss of the Colombo family. He knew this guy, Anthony Cantalupo, was Cantalupo Realty, and he used to hang out there with a captain, one of his high-level captains, a guy named Rocky. And the son, Joey Cantalupo, would go there from time to time and hang out. It was his father's place, and he was into real estate. One day, there was a van parked in a parking lot. I forgot what kind of it was a big place. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, the van was parked there, and the guy was cleaning up the parking lots and stuff. And he goes by the van and he hears a conversation. And he looks up, there's antennas, there's stuff going by, and he's listening to what's going on. He's don't know. And he hears this Joey man's voice talking. And he knew Joey man, he recognized the voice, and it sounded like a recording. There's a couple of cars that are parked near this, and they got government plates. He knows this is some sort of government, maybe FBI sting. He don't know exactly, he's confused, but he knows he hears Joey man's voice coming in, and it's more of a not in-person voice, it's more of a taped voice. He listens to the conversation. They seem to cut it off. Joey man seems to be talking to another guy. Obviously, that conversation is being recorded and sent to this trailer. The guy that Joey man is talking to is a confidential informant, and he's wired. These FBI guys are taping and listening to the whole conversation. The next day, he goes to see Joey man. Now, he knows Joey man is a little bit of a heavyweight, made guy, mafioso. So he's a little concerned, and he's a working guy, not a street guy, he's not a mafia guy. And he tells Joey, the guy you were talking to yesterday, you had a conversation, I think the guy is an FBI agent or an informant or something. Joey's stunned, and he doesn't really buy it. How would you know that? He says, I heard part of your conversation. You heard me talking to somebody yesterday. Yeah. He said, listen, Joey, to prove I'm not lying, I'm going to tell you what you said in this conversation. And the guy said. He tells him part of the conversation. Joey man is stunned. He can't even believe it. He knows he was meeting with Cantalupo's son, Joey Cantalupo. And he knows he had that conversation almost word for word. He goes to report to his captain and tells him what happened. They go forward and they reach people in the Colombo family. and they tell them what happened. The Colombo family don't buy it. They said the old man has been around us for years. It's not true. And his kid, I mean, he's in position, he could hurt us if he was an informant. I mean, he hears conversations, not the major maybe, but he hears conversations, he knows what's going on. Why wouldn't any of us get arrested? So they don't buy it. They're talking back and forth and back and forth. On a bug near the club or wherever they were, the FBI hears them talking. They know that their confidential informant is exposed. They got to get him off the street. They pull him off the street. He calls his father, he calls his family. He tells them what they did, what he did. That he's been an informant for years. The father comes back and tells Joe Colombo and them about this situation. He tries everything to get the son not to cooperate, to pull away, to come home. He wants to meet him. He forgives him. We could pack up and leave. The father was caught on tape talking to Joe Colombo and people. He's trying to set his son up. When he comes to a meeting, he wants a couple of shooters to be there and to kill his son. It probably saved his life. The conversation of trying to help to the point that he was willing to kill his own son, they gave him a pass. There's no doubt they would not hurt him or any of the family. They never were able to get the son away. I knew how they thought. I was in the Colombo family. I had been released at that time to be pulled away into the Gambino family. The Genovese family and the Colombo family, there was a little friction for a while. No shot's going to be shot. You know, it's not a war. It's not going crazy. But there was friction and, you know, my God, you just didn't believe us. We told you there was a fucking guy who heard the whole conversation and quoted it back. Why would we lie like that? So there was friction over this thing for quite a while. He did quite a bit of damage. When he was around his father's real estate, he was wired. He did get a lot of people on tape. I don't remember how many people got pinched, and I was out of the Colombo family already. I was in the Gambino family. It didn't matter to me. I didn't know him well. I never had any real conversations. Anytime I went to see Joe Colombo when I was in the Colombo family, I never talked in front of the father or the son. I never even had any conversation at all. I really wasn't that concerned, but it was a crazy story. And it shows you the degree of the mafia. Cantalupo, the father, was not a made guy. He was never proposed to become a made guy. But the loyalty he had to Joe Colombo and the mafia, he was willing to take his son out. And there was no threat to him. He didn't rat on his father. In other words, when he was wired, I guess his deal with the agents, I'm not going to go around with a wire and hurt my father. And I think he had some other deals as well. I think he liked Joe Colombo and Rocky. I don't think they had problems with it. I could be wrong. But It was a hell of a story and a hell of a situation. And I think the part about the father being that loyal to Cosa Nostra and people he liked and loved and dealt with as family. Not that he belonged to a family, he belonged as an associate. That's all he would ever be. And I think that's for sure, that's all he ever became. The father became literally a broken man. His whole personality, everything changed. He became low-key. He wasn't in the office all the time. That's what he was known for. He was a happy-go-lucky guy, a guy who'd do you favors. It literally crushed him. And the thing started with, the more I think about it, it started with a loan, a Shylock loan, that he took with Carmine Persico's brother, Alphonse Persico, Alley Boy Sr. Persico. There's a junior Persico, Alley Boy Jr., but it was Alley Boy Sr. That's what really started this whole thing, this Shylock loan. They put pressure on him. The father didn't know anything about it. The father could have probably just paid it off in 2 seconds, but the father didn't know about it. So that's the story of this little miscambrolia, meaning a mess. The whole story was a mess. It took a little while for me to try to get it straight in my head again, but I thought you guys would enjoy that story, and if you liked it and you're not confused with me, press like, press subscribe, and this definitely, adios, motherfucker.